is it within our purview to discuss the details of the bond? Because I think that's what he's asking is, and I'm not sure, is that part of what we're supposed to do, to review a bond that's already in place and has already been active for a while? Is that really our job?
I'll answer that question. It is not within our purview to answer questions in regard to the bond and the financing on the bond. It is an area that's not even in the purview of Parks and Rec, from what I understand. I think that information is available, and nobody is going to deny you, Commissioner Levinson, that information. So I believe Attorney Kim Barlow, you have some information about where that is available?
Yes. There are a number of documents. I actually just Googled it a minute ago when the topic came up. There are a number of documents that are easily available on the city's website under both the City Fullerton City Council agendas and the Public Finance Authority agendas that describe the entire bond transaction. There's a requirement that there be a report every year on the progress of the bonds, how the money is paid, and so on. That information is all contained in our budget and is available also on the website. I think, having worked with Ms. James for a while, I believe her concern is probably primarily because in terms of what to bring you, we really are talking about thousands and thousands of pages of documents, all of the bond documents, the indenture, the trust agreement. There are a lot of documents that are generated when a bond is issued, and typically the city hires multiple lawyers and other experts to address various aspects of that bond issue. So there are bond lawyers in San Francisco. The city attorney's office will probably have given a bond opinion in connection with that as well, about the process that was followed. But all of those documents are publicly available, and if you can't find them on the website, I'm sure that a public records request would probably get whatever documents you'd like to see.
Thank you. I just have two comments. Number one, to respond to the chair's comment that it's out of our purview. It was in fact Ms. Loya who presented that bond issue to the council back in November 2nd of 2010. So it was a management member of this department that did it. So then they were out of line if they did that, but that was the department that handled it. So I'm just looking for clarification for that. Number two is what?
Let me answer your question of number one, which is yes, she referred to the bond, but she did not go into any detail. The detail that you're looking for.
She provided cost information about the bond, both in principal and interest.
Yes, she did.
And I'm trying to clarify that.
If you ask for further questions, you need to go into finance, and where those answers lie are indeed deeper where you indeed want to go, I'm sure.
Let me ask the assistant city attorney a question. What do I need to do as a committee member to bring forth this department to provide answers to serious allegations that have been out there now for 6 months, more than 6 months? And as far as specifics are concerned, Mr. Curley provided specific questions, very specific questions, typewritten, and gave it out to this committee and to this department last month. So I believe we can start with those questions and go from there. But that's specific information. I think it needs to be addressed, and I'm troubled why there seems to be a reluctance to answer questions that have been this department has said have no validity. So let's get it out there and show that it has no validity, and let's get moving forward. But I think they deserve an answer. So what do I need to do, Ms. Barlow, for that?
Yes,
I was.
And you run the meeting, so
Okay.
I don't talk until you tell me
Okay.
it's okay.
Attorney Ms. Barlow, would you like to answer that?
Yeah, thank you. I don't have the questions, but as I understand it, the questions related to the management contract as opposed to the RZED bond. The bond itself really has nothing to do with whatever's going on with the golf management contract at this point. Certainly if the commission would like to have that item agendized and have those specific questions looked into by staff and a report back, then the commission should direct staff to do that.
Well, then I'd like to make a motion to do exactly that.
Okay, again, it's not on the agenda tonight, so it's.
I'm trying to put it on the agenda for next week, for next month.
I understand that, then the request should be to agendize it for
Well,
discussion at the next.
I'm sorry, that's what I meant to say. I would like to agendize. The staff would provide answers to the questions that Mr. Shirley provided to all of us at last month's meeting. And I'd ask that that be agendized for the March meeting.
Do you have that list of questions with you, Commissioner Fullerton?
I do not,
I don't either.
but I can get them to you tomorrow,
Uh,
if not sooner.
No, that's not at the meeting. I believe you're going to have to bring those to the meeting, the next meeting.
We all received the same questions.
Well, bring them to the meeting.
The clerk got a copy too.
And the clerk has a copy, so Debbie should have a copy.
You have a copy right here now? Not here. Okay.
Fine.
So are we gonna be able to agendize for next meeting? Is that, can we do that?
You make a motion?
No, we can't make a motion,
No.
but we would request that that be agendized. Is that possible, Hugo, to have that for March, or do you need more time?
Not in,
Defer to the chair on those.
not
Okay.
at this time, as far as I know. I don't have anything in front of me, so I
No,
don't
no,
know
no.
what I'm supposed to agendize.
What'd you do with your email?
I can't do that.
Throw it away?
Well, I guess we wanna agendize what was supposed to be agendized for this meeting that was in the minutes.
No, let me say that's
Is
bait and
that not it?
switch. We had an RZED bond, which was
Okay.
scheduled to be at this meeting. That one
Yeah.
is not being discussed, and there may be a list of some other things which I do not have at this time.
So just for clarification, the RZED discussion, as far as money was supposed to come back, we're gonna look back at the minutes to see if it was, what money was supposed to come back. And if it was supposed to come back tonight or next month, it's coming back.
That one is
correct?
coming, that,
RZED bond issue, and that issue only, that was in the minutes.
that one was to come back tonight. Hugo.
Well, it was questioned, but it's coming back tonight or in a
going
future
to
meeting.
come back tonight.
Right. My question is, the response to the list of questions, those questions, I'm not even certain why we need to review it. Personally, is that something that we can get staff to respond to Mr. Curley? That, based on the time that they have to respond, and if they got just report back to us, but I don't understand why it has to come before this commission.
As I recall, we discussed those questions the last time when we were here. I don't have a list in front of me, and I don't believe that Commissioner Levinson has a list, and I'm not going to agendize something that I don't have.
Anyway, it was a handheld. Yeah, I don't have it in front of me.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
I'm not going to agendize something that is, in my book,
No, I agree.
it's
I'm
non-existent.
questioning whether it has to be agendized at all.
Madam Chair?
If that's something. that-
Madam Chair, I will bring it forward to the next meeting and we can agendize it for April. Okay?
Thank you, Commissioner Levinson.
Two things. One is, if I could answer the Commissioner's question, it does not have to be agendized. Staff is always free to, and the members of the public are free to make those requests of staff, and staff can talk to the members. This commission may choose to discuss it or may choose not to, as you please. The second thing is, there's been some discussion about the RZED, am I saying that right?
Yes.
Bond, and I think Mr. Curiel was looking for some direction, of what it is that the commission wants to have back. If the commission doesn't want to have it back, then we should get that direction now. If,
Well, my direction would be, since I brought it forward, would be to clarify the numbers that were presented by this department, by Ms. Loya last month with regard to that, and with regard to her original presentation in November 2nd of 2010, relating to that topic, the American Golf, the management fee, and the costs relating to the bond. She presented those numbers to council when a change was requested to go from the lease agreement to a management agreement. And the basis of that presentation was what moved the council to make a decision. I would like to review those numbers.
Well, my understanding is that, if you can write a list of what exactly you would like, rather than speak those things, can you write a list out of that, Barry? Commissioner Levinson?
First of all, what I've requested is something that is information that was presented by this department. One of them was the presentation that was done last month by Ms. Loya.
I understand that.
So they already have the information. Why do I have to recreate what they already put forth?
As I understand it, Commissioner Levinson, you're looking for more detailed information or specific questions that you may have about that presentation.
It was a very small list of numbers, and I just would like clarification on those numbers and support for them. That's very simple. There are 5 or 6 items of numbers that are related to the management fee and the cost of the principal and the interest of the bond.
Can you humor me, Commissioner Levinson, and just, since it's such a simple number of questions that you have,
That's it.
can you take that and just write your questions out?
Here's what was presented.
Yeah, I can see that list. Can you write your questions out so it's a simple list?
I certainly can.
Do you think you could do that tonight and we could just turn that in and get that, see if we can get the answers on that?
I'd be glad to provide to you tomorrow.
Okay.
I'll be glad to provide to Mr. Cardell tomorrow morning the first thing.
Thank you,
If
Commissioner
that's okay.
Levinson.
So,
Am I to understand that the direction would be that Mr. Levinson will submit the questions to Mr. Curiel and staff will be expected to attempt to respond to those questions at the next meeting as opposed to going into detail about the whole bond issue? Is that correct?
That's, yeah, that's fine.
Okay, thank you very much, Commissioner Levinson. Okay, any further staff communications? If there are no
I'd
further-
like to say I'm happy to be here.
If there's no further questions, then I move to,
You're moving to adjourn.
yes, I am.
This item, is this something that could have public comment?
No, I'm afraid it's not.
Not on the agenda.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And before we adjourn, just some clarification, the information that we just talked about, that staff will be reporting on at the next meeting, possibly, would that be under Parks and Rec